Hello everyone, so today we are going to talk about Microsoft. Please note that this presentation is prepared to illustrate the use of SharePreds stock tracker mobile app and is not meant to be a financial advice. You can do the same analysis on Microsoft or any other stock or ETF from the US stock markets by downloading our application from the App Store or Google Play Store by just typing SharePreds, and SharePreds stock tracker is the app that you can download on your phone and start doing analysis on any stock or ETF from the US stock markets by also getting access to the AI-powered predictions for short-term trading. So let's go back to our application and do our analysis on Microsoft. So what makes Microsoft interesting is that it is traditionally a very stable and great stock for long-term investors. Most analysts tend to give a buy recommendation for Microsoft, and let's have a look at how it has been performing lately. So if we have a look at the last month's graph at the top with the red text there, just beside the price of the stock, we can see that the price has gone down by 5.72%. In the last 2 months, the price has gone down by almost 10%. In the last 3 months, the price has gone down by almost 17%, not almost, exactly 17 actually. So in the last 6 months, it has gone down by 23% roughly. In the last 1 year, the price has gone down by 5.44%. But if you have a look at the last 3 years, the price has actually gone up by 89%. So I'm going to go back to the 3 months graph, the candlestick graph. We can see that the price has gone down by 17%. If you have a look at the MACD versus signal line graph, which we can see at top of the screen right now, the MACD is just crossing the signal line, going upwards, but both MACD and signal line values are actually below the zero line at the moment. So if you have a look at the RSI, which is shown by the blue line there, we can see that the RSI value is just below the 50, almost 50 we can say at the moment. It is not too low, it is not that high, which doesn't indicate any concrete recommendation actually. And during the recent days, we can see that the RSI has sort of flattened. So if we go back to our main graph, the candlestick graph, and if you have a look at the 20 days moving average versus 50 days moving average, 50 days moving average is represented by the yellow line, as you see, and the 20 days moving average is represented by the white line. So generally speaking, the shorter term moving average is expected to be higher than the longer term moving average to be able to say that there's a positive trend for the stock price. But it's not the thing that we can see at the moment. So the price, it's actually in line with the price of the stock as well. So it's been going down lately. We can check other graphs as well, but let's not spend too much time on these graphs. You can do the analysis yourself as well. So let's have a look at the short-term AI prediction for the price of the stock. So the latest prediction was sent out on the 30th of June. The reference buy target or reference price of the stock for this prediction was $260.26, and the price increase likelihood for the coming month is given as 42.5% based on our algorithms. Since it's below 50%, the expectation is that at the end of the coming month, the price of this stock is expected to be somewhat lower than $260.26. But on the other hand, for a potential price decrease, the expectation is not very, very strong. If this prediction was like 15% or 20% or something, then we will say that okay, it's sort of much closer to 0%. So then we would expect that the expectation for a price decrease will be very, very high, but it's not really the case. So it's 42.5% is not really far away from 50% actually. The latest closing price for the stock is already to $256.83, so which is already below the $260 range. Please note that these short-term predictions are updated on each business day. So from one day to another, so this prediction will be changing as our algorithms collect more data from the markets. Let's have a look at the technical indicators. There are several, but let's have a look at the MACD first. MACD happens to be minus 2.28 versus the signal line of minus 3.45, giving us a positive histogram value of 1.17. Even if MACD happens to be below zero, it is at least above the signal line at the moment. So the volatility of the stock in the last 5 days, it is 3%. In the last 20 days, it is 3.06%. In the last 200 days, it is 3.09%. So for a stock like Microsoft, maybe these figures are slightly high, even if these numbers would be fairly low compared to many other stocks in the markets right now, because markets are quite volatile recently, as you probably also know. The PE ratio of the Microsoft right now happens to be 26.81 based on the diluted EPS, and the EPS TTM right now 9.58. So 26.81 as the PE ratio is a fair number for Microsoft. And with regards to the price decrease lately, if we are gonna think long term, maybe for the long-term investors, it maybe doesn't make any difference, and this number may be quite a reasonable number as PE ratio for a company like Microsoft at the moment. If you have a look at the income statement summary for the recent quarters, as we clearly see, even if the markets have been quite volatile, there has been a lot of crisis in the markets and so on, both the basic EPS and diluted EPS figures are all positive values. So Microsoft is a profitable company that we can say by just looking at these numbers here. These are the quarterly report summary, and down below you can also see the annual report summary based on balance sheet, cash flow, and income statement based on annual reports. And it's probably also worth to mention that Microsoft is a dividend paying company. So are they doing it consistently? On the right hand side of this table here for the dividends, the type indicates that it's consistent, which indicates that the Microsoft is paying dividends consistently. The latest amount is $0.62, and the payment date is going to be the 8th of September, and the ex-dividend date happens to be 17th of August, meaning that as long as you buy the stock before the 17th of August, so the buyers of the stock will have the right to get the dividends. So the payout ratio, which is calculated based on the given dividend TTM and the EPS TTM. So the payout ratio happens to be 25.89%, which is a reasonable number for a company like Microsoft. I've seen much smaller values actually from other companies. So Microsoft is not is fairly generous, we can probably say, in this regard, compared to many other companies, obviously, in order to be able to put things into perspective here. And down below, you can see Microsoft-related news that are continuously updated as we collect more news from the markets related to Microsoft that you can read and do your further analysis. So regarding these AI predictions, I want to mention another thing is that you may be wondering which stocks on each day have the highest prediction, highest price increase likelihood for the coming month. To be able to see the list of such stocks, you go to the menu, and at top here you see the short-term predictions. You can press on that one and see the shortlisted stocks with the highest price increase likelihood for the coming month from the US stock markets. And again, if you want to do your own analysis, you can just go to the App Store, search for SharePreds Stock Tracker app, and download it to do the same analysis on this stock or any other stock from the US stock markets. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.